Okay, I think we've got a quorum, so I'm going to call the Regulated Industries Committee to order. First on the agenda is Senate Bill 143 by Senator Henston. He's got a meeting with the governor's office, and I sure don't want to hold him up for that. You explain your bill, please, sir.
It's merely language that does away with some antiquated language in front that's another place statute, but mainly starts on page line 61 is just making it clear that they can get the federal background check. Language is already in statute to try to get that type of background check. The language is proper for the federal authority to do the proper information. So this will do this, and this language will conform to other health care states. I oppose anyone as far as I know that they're not inside therapy, professional units of bill derived from Secretary of State, Secretary of State's office here.
Any questions from the committee? No questions? Well, move it due passed. I hear a second. Hold on a minute. Okay, revise your motion. We got a second.
It's off of life support.
Okay. Yeah. All right. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Like side opposed, say no. Okay, bill goes out with a due pass recommendation. Thanks, Senator. All right, we got another short one here that came sprung on. I guess I'm getting soft-hearted in my old age. Is a House resolution by Representative Light Horse Harry Geisinger. Would you mind presenting your bill? Get over to where we can hear you over there, please, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My line.
No.
Mr. Chairman, this is a very simple resolution. It calls for a study committee of 5 members of the House. As you read the resolution, it says that we can work with a like committee in the Senate. The Senate has told me that they're going to go ahead and create a study committee. The reason we have to do it rather than a joint committee that way is simply because we moved too lately on it. And in talking to the Speaker, he thought this might be an enlightening group. The committee is made up of 3 members, 2 citizens, and 1 individual that is familiar with the horse racing industry. And there are 5 days to meet. If there are any questions, Mr. Chairman, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions of the author? I'll entertain a motion. Second. Any further discussion on the issue? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Like side.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Pass recommendation. Let's see what we got here next. Senator Grant here? Hadn't seen him. Okay. Senator Ramsey. Senator Ramsey here. Representative Powell, we're not allowed to do that. We've got to have the senator to present the bill. Well, they were notified of the meeting. Guess we'll hold it in abeyance till sometime in the future. Okay, the chairman's going to make a ruling that we allow this House Bill 150 to be heard by Representative Alan Powell. Mr. Powell, would you get up and present the bill?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate the latitude of allowing me. Not often I get a chance to come to a House committee to speak on behalf of the senator. But since I'm riding his bill piggyback, I'll be glad to try to help him. Senator Ramsey's bill basically would allow county municipalities, cities and counties that operate a public golf course to sell wine and distilled spirits on premise at their locations upon obtaining a local license. That's quite frankly what his does. The section that I put in, that I have been using his as a vehicle, was a bill that was passed out of this committee early on, House Bill 165. This is the Housing Authority Act. There's an antiquated provision under Georgia law that says that local housing authorities, you cannot have a place that sells alcohol for consumption within 100 yards of a public housing authority. Currently, they can sell package. You can have a package store or anything next to a housing authority, and but not a restaurant. Just came from over in Winder. There was a location that wanted to put a high-end restaurant up, and it was within that 100-yard distance. It's sort of an antiquated system. So what we're doing in the proposal we're making is that a city or county, if someone comes in, that then they can petition to the city or to the county government, and basically it requires that the petitioner to authorize them, and then the city and county will pass this along to that local housing authority for 30 days for their comments. If they have any objections, then they can raise them at that time.
This is only a recommendation by the housing authority. It doesn't give them the authority to...
No, it does not give the housing authority veto power over it. Basically, your cities and your counties are the elected officials,
Right.
and they should have the ultimate say in this.
Okay. Representative Dixon.
The section on the golf course, does that enable the public golf course to be selling wine, beer, whatever, in a county that doesn't already allow those?
The county does not have legalized...
Or city?
The county does not have legalized sales. It's my understanding that it does not permit that.
Would you mind if we had an amendment that clarified that?
I have no problems with the senator's part. He's not here, and I am. Well, Senator, welcome.
In that case, I would propose an amendment at the proper time.
We who we got?
The chairman will get.
Will you yield to the senator
I
there?
certainly will. It's his vote.
Representative Mitchell, we'll get to you in a minute.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. I appreciate you calling this bill up, Senate Bill 150. And I'll be willing to take any questions that the committee has.
Question we were talking about.
Oh.
Question we were talking about is if this would enable a golf course to provide or sell beer, wine, or distilled spirits in a jurisdiction that otherwise did not allow that.
No, sir. Based on the language of the bill, if it does, otherwise, the local authority would have to approve the licensing. So if it's already in a dry county that does not authorize it, then the golf course would not be able to get a license from that jurisdiction.
Do you have any objection that's clarifying that at the end?
No objection
Okay.
whatsoever, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Yeah. Proper time to
Okay.
entertain.
Uh,
Representative Mitchell.
Actually, Mr. Chair, my question was just asked and answered.
Okay, thank you very much. That's quick. Representative Ramsey.
Thank you, Senator Ramsey. I'm going to offer an amendment, Senator Ramsey. I just want to make sure you consider it a friendly amendment that would just simply allow the Department of Natural Resources on the 4 state-owned golf courses to do the same thing that we're allowing the county and municipal-owned golf courses.
Yes, sir. I have been in discussions with DNR, and I agree to that amendment.
Okay.
Representative Harrell, I believe your light's on.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I just wanted to further clarify, and I guess it would now apply to DNR as well. This would in no way permit a government jurisdiction that happens to own one of these facilities to issue a license to their own facility to sell beer or wine where a private similar sector facility would be prohibited. So, for example, there must have already been some type of referendum or whatever enabling legislation in that locality to permit beer or wine to be sold prior to a city, county, whatever, to issuing a license for their own public facility. Is that correct?
That is correct, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Okay. We have 2 proposed amendments that we will need to offer, and I recognize Representative Dixon for his proposal.
Would propose that on line 15, the period would be changed to a comma at the end of that line and add, provided that the sale of beer, wine, and distilled spirits is legal in that jurisdiction. Oh, wait a minute, yeah, excuse me. On line 49.
Bills and substitute bills. Any discussion on the amendment? Entertain a motion. Second. Hold on a minute. Legal counsel's raising their hand.
Line 49. On page 2 where it spells them out, though, on lines 40, 48 and 49. Section 2. When I first said line 15, that was in error. It's actually amending line 49 of the substitute.
Any further discussion on the motion? Do I hear a motion to accept the amendment? Any second? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, amendment adopted. Representative Ramsey, you got,
Yes, Mr. Chairman. In Section 2 on line 46, I would add the word "the Department of Natural Resources" or at the beginning of line 46, and then change the capitalized A and any to a lowercase.
any questions about that amendment? Okay, to hear a motion to accept it. Second. All those in favor indicate saying aye. Opposed, like sign. Okay, the two amendments are adopted. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Upon discussion with council, on line 34 is a reference to administrative order, but on line 40 it is not, and it's her recommendations that we either strike the term administrative order or either add it down on line 40.
So you're taking that portion out?
Or, well, I believe our council should probably talk about which way she had made the recommendation as a sort of a technical cleanup.
Now you want to read how the proposed amendment reads?
Depend on the will of committee is whether y'all want to delete the phrase administrative order or add it to line 40 for consistency. Typically when we refer to authorizing counties or municipalities, we refer to doing it by resolution or ordinance. But I believe that there was testimony in this committee before about adding administrative order. But typically the way that we refer to it in the code and the way that we talk about authorizing resolution is by resolution.
So we need to insert that then on line 40 to make it consistent, is that right?
Or delete administrative order, since we typically don't use that.
Representative Powell, what's your desire? Eliminate it or add it?
I would say let's just add administrative order because at some point that may become commonplace.
Okay.
There may be someone here from GMA or ACCG that might speak to that.
Any expert out in the audience that'd like to? We're getting some Band-Aids put on this bill, and we'll get them patched up. I hear a motion. Left with. Representative Harold, would you like to comment on that?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My concern originally was this is a, for lack of a better term, a special exception, or it's an act that will address a very specific situation. I didn't think it necessarily needed to be codified in law as an ordinance on a city's books. Ordinance number 123, city of so-and-so permits this one piece of property to do this one thing. Many cities and counties, by codified law, authorize their city managers or county managers to have a whole list of administrative authority. Part of that administrative authority very well could be to grant these special licenses and permits. So my purpose of adding or requesting the language for administrative order was in those cities and counties where there is already ordinance or resolution providing this power to an administrator to allow that administrator to do their job and grant a permit or variance such as this.
Okay, is it will of the committee to add this to the bill? All right, I hear a motion to do that. Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay. Any more Band-Aids? All right, a motion do pass and a second. Any further discussion? Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Goes out with a do pass recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Oh. I believe that Senator Grant has appeared for his presentation of Senate Bill 114. Senator Grant, come around and present your bill. So I think we're going to be working off a committee substitute. Is that your understanding?
That's my understanding. I do not have the committee substitute in front of me. I know roughly what it is. Okay. Sections 1 and 2 of Senate Bill 114 is Senate Bill 114 as it passed the state Senate. And that basically just clarifies and slightly extends places where a distillery can be built and operated in the state of Georgia. Primarily what we did was to allow, as you see on line 36, or the sale of distilled spirits by the drink or both. That's the operative language in here, because previously the distillery was only allowed in a place where there was package sale of distilled spirits. And so this extends it slightly, but still allows the community by that to vote to either allow sale by the drink or sale by package sales to be determining whether or not a distillery can be located in that community. As we were talking with Legislative Counsel and Department of Revenue, there seemed to be some ambiguity on whether this applied only to Georgia-grown fruit or if it could be more broadly interpreted. And so Section 2 was created to basically eliminate that ambiguity and to make it permissible for distilled spirits to be made from any agricultural product other than perishable fruit. So Section 2 basically duplicates parts of most of Section 1, but just makes it broader for any agricultural products. And then Section 3 is the new part of this sub, and it just changes the capacity of a brew pub, and on lines 68 and 79 those numbers have been extended. And so with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll be happy to answer any questions and urge your favorable consideration.
Any questions by the committee? Anyone in the audience like to comment on it? Revenue, are you happy with this bill? I mean, sign off on it? Tim, I think this was a bill that we had entertained before. I don't think it's anything changing other than increase the volume. No problem. Okay. Representative James.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a friendly question.
Yes, sir.
I'm a grower of corn, barley. If I have a county government authority that's friendly to me, can I go out there and set up my own brewery to make corn whiskey?
If your county government allows, or wherever the particular facility would be located, if they allow sale by the drink or package sales, and you meet all the other requirements of the Department of Revenue and the federal government, then yes, sir, you could open up a distillery. If you did not meet those others, then I think you'd be classified as a moonshiner, and the Department of Revenue would probably be looking for you.
I move to pass.
Okay. Got a motion to do pass. I hear a second. All right, those in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed, like sign. bill goes out with a due pass recommendation. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I excuse my tardiness. I was over in Senate appropriations trying to get a bill that's of interest to the House Rules Chairman out.
Well, I hope you made some success with it. Hope you. Thank you. Any further business to come before the committee? Seeing none, declare the meeting adjourned for the year. And I want to thank all the committee members for their participation. Appreciate your help, and wish you well when we go out of here.